for Jen when she was able to buy a beautiful home in the suburbs to raise her 7-year-old daughter, Keela. As much as Jen enjoyed her job, work demands and motherhood were sometimes horribly overwhelming. 90% of the time, poor Jen was stressed out and suffered from anxiety and frequent panic attacks. Although she was successful by any measure, she was unable to enjoy life in the way she truly wanted. At least that was the case 3 years ago. Jen's mind wanders back to that time in her life when she was dependent on prescription drugs, had frequent alcohol binges, and relied heavily on comfort food. She would try anything to help calm her mind from the sabotaging, destructive, and negative thoughts that plagued her daily. She shudders thinking about the countless times she laid in bed, unable to sleep, twisting and turning, snacking at times to bring relief, though nothing did. Then, in the dark of dawn, her alarm would go off and despair would set in, wondering how on earth she would get through the day with virtually no sleep. The memory of that period of Jen's life no longer made her shudder. It made her grateful because it was during that time her co-worker Alison introduced her to mindfulness. As she wonders what her life would be like today if it wasn't for Alison, Jen notices these thoughts and gently brings her mind back to the present moment. Jen becomes aware of her feet on the floor as she brushes her teeth, the toothbrush in her hand, and the touch of her PJs against her skin. She connects to the rhythm of her breath going in and out, and the sensation and noise of the water swishing around as she rinses her mouth. Her focus is entirely on the actions and sensations occurring in the moment. Jen is practicing mindfulness. She's just interrupted a stream of thoughts that, left unchecked, would have dominated her mind for hours and hours. And because thoughts create emotions and feelings like fear, anxiety, and sadness, she would have been caught up in a perpetual cycle of fear-based worry, self-sabotaging, and negative emotions. Mindfulness involves present moment attention on the activity, the body movements, the sight and sensations, and adopting a single focus of attention. By directing your attention to the present moment in this way, your mind is no longer preoccupied with thoughts about the past or the future, such as memories, plans, or fantasies. As well as directing attention to the experience in the present moment, mindfulness requires a non-judgmental observation of that experience. So no meditation or yoga involved in mindfulness, though mindfulness practices can be applied to both. No monks or Eastern deities, as mindfulness is not a religion, though it does have its roots in Buddhism and was part of the Buddhistic psychology 2,500 years ago. At that time, Pali was the common language. The goal of mindfulness is to better understand the workings of the mind and apply the insights into practice to create a more balanced life. It helps you create a different relationship with your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. A fundamental tenet of mindfulness is observing without judgment. Observing rather than identifying with thoughts increases awareness of internal and external experiences occurring in the present moment. Mindfulness practices thereby enhance the ability to distinguish between direct experiences versus the mental story or interpretation of these experiences, thereby reducing their potentially harmful effect on mental well-being. one thing. Why else would she be competing with me in everything? She always gave me a deceitful look, and I know she kicked the ball deliberately in my direction. Probably she was trying to hurt me. I know for a fact she deliberately ignored me when I walked into the science lab that day. In the midst of these thoughts, Jen begins to observe them, like an outside observer listening in and looking upon the thoughts. By doing so, Jen's attention moves from the ramblings of the past to the present in this very act of observing. This is Jen's interpretation of the story, and the thoughts generated are unrelated to the direct experience. By turning attention back to the present moment, to the feelings and sensations, allows Jen to connect to the reality of the moment rather than her mind's version of it. Thus in mindfulness, you are the dispassionate observer. You look upon thoughts without becoming entangled in the mental story, for it's the mind's interpretation of the mental stories we tell ourselves that trigger emotions that cause anguish and are ultimately harmful. Quote, "We learn to make a distinction between our inner and outer world, the first filled with terror and apprehension, and the second emerging as far more benign and indifferent. This awareness offers the possibility to observe the interplay between thoughts, emotions, and body sensations. The objective is not to change emotions, feelings, or body sensations that are present, only to observe them. You accept what you experience. Thus, mindfulness can help you become more aware of the automatic influence of thoughts on emotions and body sensations, and vice versa. Simply noticing thoughts that come out of nowhere then fade away in the very next moment, right as a new thought begins to arise, is the very essence of mindfulness. It extends to the practice of becoming aware of what you feel, what you think, and what you need. Doing this deep personal work creates a framework for our emotional experience. Our emotional experience can inform us about ourselves and lead to productive thinking, constructive choices, and the internal power to self-direct our lives. Far from being mystical, wishy-washy, and not based on hard evidence or substantiated facts, John Kabat-Zinn, an American professor emeritus of medicine, brought mindfulness into the mainstream of medicine and society in the 80s. It's very popular within the context of science, and the benefits have been well documented since the early 1980s. Presently, there are about 30 to 40 publications a month and growing. As we saw from Jen, mindfulness is not about thinking happy, positive thoughts. She did not try to change or block her thoughts. She simply observed them without judgment. And as for difficult and time-consuming, a growing body of scientific literature reveals simple yet powerful mindfulness practices can be easily incorporated into daily life. Over time, it becomes a way of life that promotes the kind of happiness and peace you experience from the core of your being. It's no longer about what you do, rather it's a reflection of who you are and how you meet the worst and the best of what comes your way. There are 5 core components of mindfulness: attention, open awareness, acceptance, non-identification, and choice, which are beyond the scope of this video series.